Welcome to Missing in Minutes. I am Danny, also known as RD. I'm here to talk about the state of insanity in this case with the Avery case. So I'll wait for a few of you to get together with me and we can have a little chat. I'm not going to read it. I'll read it maybe tomorrow or the next day. I can already tell you what it really doesn't matter what it says to me. So I decided to do a little reverse psychology. Instead of giving the state of Wisconsin any time tonight, because I don't feel they deserved it, being I just got done confronting Governor Evers and he just brushed me off like I was nothing. I really feel like that's what they deserve back, right? Hey, Nan's Life Lovely. Nan, can I make you a mod somehow while we're on the live? Add moderator. There you go, lovely. You deserve that wrench more than anybody else I know. All right, you guys. So Nan's Life says we expected nothing more from the state. Yeah. You know, I would love to be able to tell you that curiosity has me wanting to read, really dig in and look at that case and go, okay, look, I'm going to look at what the state has to say. I'm going to take precious time. Like I could possibly talk about a missing kid, or I could talk about somebody that matters, or I could waste my breath. And I'm just not gonna, because you know what? It's not worth it. They don't even speak facts when they talk. Hi, what is that? Icaro? Icaro. Well, nice to meet you. Welcome to the channel. We do all kinds of things here. It all has to do with truth. We're either finding missing kids the best we can, or we're digging into cold cases where somebody's been murdered and it's not solved, or we're fighting wrongful conviction. We're just a little bit of everything. And we even throw in a little tarot now and then. So we're just who we are over here. So where are you from, Icaro? I'll tell you, Nan. Whatever the state has come up with, I bet you a lot. I just seriously bet you a lot. Now, I'm not a betting person, so I can't really do that. I can just say a lot. But I can just bet you that it's been said a million different times by the state. Like, can I just go grab one of their other responses? Is there anything shocking? Cairo asked, are you talking about Summer Wells' case? And I'm from Vancouver, Canada. Well, good to have you aboard. Yeah, I actually am. We're trying our best to dig into the Summer Wells case. What's your take? You want to talk a little Summer Wells tonight? We can. At least it's talking about a worthy topic rather than some nonsense on paper that I'm probably going to wipe my butt with later tonight. That's what I figured, Nan. So we'll take our time, and when I feel like, I'm not going to turn my stomach to listen to the repetitive, boring drawl. It's drool, isn't it? You do think, so Cairo said he believes, or she believes, they believe, that she was abducted, meaning Summer Wells. It's highly possible. The TBI hasn't put anything out. I'm very upset with some of the comments that were offensive to me as a parent, coming from parents of Summer Wells. Does that make them guilty? No. Does it make me really question what the hell is going on over there? Yes. A lot. I really have kind of dipped into the idea of heat exhaustion. Really have. Hot day, dressed, we're talking Summer Wells. hot day, completely dressed in like a jogging suit, if you will, a shirt underneath, sitting in a hot car all day, filled with sugary snacks, you know. One other YouTuber, and I got to start writing these names down. I've been working like 13-hour days at times, and I catch these things while I'm half asleep, so forgive me. But all the YouTubers are doing a fantastic job. I want to say this, because if it weren't for the YouTubers, Summer Wells isn't even talked about in national news. Okay? So regardless of what you feel about who's talking about what, hats off to all of the media that is covering this child, as well as Michael Vaughn, because these two kids are both 5 years old and missing, and we're all they got. So, you know, whatever you're doing, as long as your intent is done in the goodness of Summer Wells or Michael Vaughn, just keep their name out there, please. I'm freezing tonight. I don't know what's going on. It's like the weather changed overnight. Okay, so iCairo says, I think that whoever abducted her knew the family in some way, and I think that whoever abducted her put her into a vehicle and drove off. Apparently, dogs sniff the area, and the scent goes from the swing set outside to across the road and back. That proves that she could have been put into a vehicle. Yeah? Hey, David K. Good to hear from you. So, yeah, it's really, I mean, it is highly possible that either of these children were abducted. At this point, you guys, we know so little. The same culprits could have abducted both kids. One on June 15th in 2021, this year, in Tennessee, and then went to Idaho for all we know and grabbed the next one. They're both 5 years old and fit the same description. And I'm not suggesting that's happened. I'm just saying that's how little we know. So I was thinking about my little Brendan Dassey today, and I want to give a shout out that's well deserved. So there's a gold star, because that's all we got in this case. It's a gold star for very special effort. Okay? So this person, over time, has brought me to tears and has made me feel empathy for Brendan Dassey in a way that keeps him in my heart and gave me the strength, like made me have strength to hold my composure when I did go before Governor Evers. And that's Becca Chua. And I think she isn't getting the credit she deserves. This girl has a heart of gold. And I support her 1,000%. So, if there's such a thing as a Rubberducky Gold Star, I've never given one out before, I'm going to give it to Becca Chua. That's a good point, Cairo. I highly doubt a child would run away from home or into the forest. She would have been found by now, especially she's only 5. I haven't heard of any other case yet. Can you tell me about the other case? I sure can, Cairo. I'll do it on a deal. You have to then pay it forward and share the case with others, okay? So, his name is Michael Vaughn, and he's 5 years old. And he was at home, as far as I understand, with his father and little brother and possibly grandfather. The child, the baby, the little sibling, had a very messy diaper, is what was explained. And the dad went to change the very messy diaper, and Michael left the front door and went to a neighbor's house and knocked on the door to ask to play, and they couldn't. I don't know what was going on in the family's life at the time, but they were busy, and they explained to him, could he play with another friend on the block or go home? Now, you guys, this is just what I've learned. And that was the last we know of this child. Literally. Mother was at work. There haven't really been any interviews with the parents. I'm sure they're in devastating shock right now. There have been amazing amount of search teams combing the area. It's horrifying. It's absolutely horrifying. I've gotten to the point, one of my worst fears, I can't even hit a thumbs up on these kids' pictures that are rolling past my Facebook because I'm terrified that some pervert could possibly be watching one of my nieces or nephews or something. And I'm like, get their picture off there. I know, you guys, we want to brag about our kids in school. First day of school. It terrifies me, you guys. These kids are gone like poof. And I'm talking minutes. Summer Wells inspired me to change this channel to Missing in Minutes, because that is literally what is happening to these kids. If you take your eyes off your kids, I guarantee you, it can happen to you. You just don't believe it till it does. There have been some very scary moments in my life with kids. I had a 1-year-old that was in overalls holding my hand as we walked along the shore to a deep pond. And we only had about 12 inches of shoreline there for about 4 feet. And then we go to this big open area. And I was just holding her little fingers, not thinking, because I'm a young mom at the time. Well, this kid just jumped for it for no reason. By the grace of God, her pigtail, as well as her her overall part at the top there, I happened to just, I don't know. My hand just went out and I snatched the kid out of thin air. Otherwise, she'd have been down in the murkiest, bottomless pit of God knows what with sticks, and not a place you want your child to be. Could have drowned, could have dry drowned, which I wouldn't even have known about. So shit happens really quick with kids. Nan's Life says, after ma'am, I barely posted on social media, my grandbabies are kids. Yeah, Cairo, it happens, with this. I mean, look at Brendan Dassey, for God's sakes. 1 minute, the child is in school, probably waiting on the bell to ring so he could go to his locker, get his next assignment. Maybe it's that science project that's due, or whatever kind of project is due. And the next minute, he's got Fassbender's hand on his knee, in his face, screaming at him, or not screaming, but very forcefully commanding his voice towards Brendan. What did he do to her head? Come on. Yeah, okay. And they have to tell him. And later, they ask him, after they have to tell him what happened to her head, the answer they're looking for, they have to give it to him. They say, well, why didn't you tell us that? Well, I couldn't think of it. And Brendan was the one that had the lower IQ. That seems pretty much as simple as pie. I mean, the child can't think of it because it's not in their head. So let's jump back over to Michael Vaughn. He's missing from a place I kind of stuck in my head really good. It's called Fruitland, Iowa. Fruit, like bananas. Fruitland, Iowa. Or I'm sorry, I don't know why I do that. Fruitland, Idaho. Good Lord. Maybe when I say the wrong town, maybe that's where these kids are. I mean, I have intuition. I'm just saying. Good Lord. I can never remember Idaho. Never. It's always, I always want to say Idaho or Indiana. I mean, now I don't even know what I said. I'm tired. No, they're not close. Idaho and Tennessee. Let's get the Google out and look. There's a long ways, but now that you ask, Fruitland, Idaho. Is it Idaho? Is that where? Yes. Man, my brain is gone. Idaho. That sounded terrible. I don't want to hear nobody giggling at me. And I'm lucky I can spell Tennessee tonight. They double up on everything and triple up on the E's. Okay. We're going to MapQuest, you guys. We're going to find out Idaho to Tennessee, just the state to state kind of overall. Because I think that's a relevant question. I mean, I'm not implying that these kids were snatched by the same people. I'm just pointing out they're how many days apart? So one's June 15th and one's July 27th. So June 15th to July 15th is 30. And then how many days after the 15th to the 27th? What do we got, 12? 12 and 30? 42 days. All right. What does it tell us? I thought I did search it up, you guys. Start search. How do you do that? Why can't I just Google that? Why is it giving me all this? I don't know, you guys. Somebody help me. You know, that's weird, Shane. Okay, so Shane brings up, or no, who is it? What they did to that boy is absolute child abuse. Who are you talking about? What boy? Oh, Brendan, thank you. Okay. It's funny, Shane, that you'd mentioned psychopath, because I actually found out, I was listening to this doctor talk, and he was explaining about how sociopath and psychopaths are the same thing. It's just they'll tell a psychopath that they're a sociopath so it keeps them calmer. They don't get so offended. I don't know if that's true or not. I just heard a doctor say that on YouTube. But I found it very interesting that even the doctors are like, don't piss this person off, you know. Nan's Life says, Kentucky also recently had a big bust. So what do you guys think that we should do our blackout about? I had a couple ideas. I kind of wanted to see if anybody else had ideas. Because this is going to be it coming up here tomorrow night. Well, it might not be till Friday because I have to work late tomorrow. I know, Cairo. Why would anyone even want to kidnap someone that's so messed up? Like, what's going through that person's head? I think we've created, as a society, okay, a true identity crisis. Like, it's the perfect storm for an identity crisis. So these children came from a very structured background at first in the 50s. Very, Keeping Up with the Joneses, Betty Crocker, Leave It to Beaver, the Cleavers, Andy Griffin, where there were set rules, set regulations, and they couldn't step outside the box. They had to be who someone else said they were. So maybe they were bisexual, or maybe they were of a different race. And so everybody was put in these boxes until they broke out of the boxes when Vietnam came in, really, like sprung out in the 60s. And that's when drugs came in. And I still to this day believe the government was introducing the drugs to the people. But anyway, I believe at that point, it created a lot of procreation with a bunch of people that had no idea what the hell they were doing. And they did not get attached to the kids if they were really strung out on drugs. Okay? So then they're all strung out on drugs, raising this next generation. And this next generation are the baby boomers, right? And they come in right at the time of Nixon. And they're trying to learn their identity. But right away, they introduce something new to really put a finger and put you back in your box. And that's called a credit rating, where you get a number. And if you don't measure up, you are not going to get a house. You are not going to get a car. You're not going to be able to do jack shit, right? But the difference is they didn't come with a legacy from the parents to be able to have a self-starting kit. Because remember, the baby boomers came from a generation where everybody smoked weed, got high, and if the bills got paid, the bills got paid, right? So now it's dividing the classes. You're not good enough for us, so you can't live in our neighborhood because you can't afford the houses. Now let's even do it more. Let's find other ways to do this division. And we'll do it with religion. We'll do it with politics. We'll do it with now medical stuff. Oh my God, my Becca Chew is here. I love you, darling. Becca Chua, you earned your gold star tonight. I'm so proud of you. I've been seeing you do amazing work, and I feel impressed. I mean, you just keep going the distance. You earned a wrench, because I know you have a heart of gold. And and we're at 4:40 watch time. That don't tell you something right there. It's been a long time that I haven't been able to trust people. I got in this and I've been hurt so many times that I got to where I couldn't trust people. So I decided that the best way to find out who I could trust was who was standing up for Brendan, who is standing up for Carmen Botwell, who is standing up for the people that don't have the voice and doing it with a heart of gold no matter what. Always putting them first. Never worrying about the drama. Stepping all the shit that gets slung on all these YouTube channels. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And really keeping it about the cases. And you guys, you earn it. You earned it. You got your badges. Hey, Fair Witness is here. Got tongue-tied. I'm tired, y'all. Fair Witness, we're celebrating Nan's life and Becca Chua getting the first wrenches I've handed out in a very long time. I'm just proud to have you guys. I appreciate it. It's an honor to have you guys with me. Yes, we are all here for Brendan. We absolutely are. And all the little children that are missing minutes. From Brendan Dassey to Summer Wells to Michael Vaughn to all the little kids. all the children that are missing minutes and the adults. Like, I just did the Crystal Rogers case in the FBI. Okay, so anybody want to talk about that? Because I would love to talk about that for a minute. Hey, Tia. Oh, Ty. Oh, I love that name. Welcome to our chat. I appreciate you showing up. You're welcome to the group anytime. We make you part of our family. Grats, peeps, Fair Witness says. So yeah, okay, Crystal Rogers. Let's take a few minutes into this. All right, cool. Kyra wants to talk about it. I do too. So this is a woman that has 5 children. And she's dating a cop's brother, right? Brooks Hawks. Now, before we even can talk about her, I just want to tell you, there is something bizarre here. So you're going to have to bear with me because I'm going to be jumping back and forth between 2 cases that are not related to show how sometimes it's just mind-boggling how 2 things can be happening at the same time. They have nothing to do with each other. And you stumble in it and you're like, what? So in the Crystal Rogers case, her aunt went missing at late-term pregnancy back in, I believe it was 70s and wasn't found until the 80s. So then in, what was it, 2019? You guys help me on the Crystal Rogers dates. No, it was before that. 2015, I believe. I work on a lot of cases, guys. Crystal Rogers went out on date night with Brooks Hawks. Now, he claims that she stayed up when they got home and played on her phone to some games or something, and he went to bed. When he woke up, one of the children was in the bed, I believe, but she was gone. Just poof, gone. Now, for me, I keep going over this, and I'm just saying, if somebody is missing, that's one thing. But to consistently always use the word gone always bothers me. Anyway, because you can, So, the real deal is this. The brother, the cop of Brooks Hawks, okay? I think his name was Jason. I just did this video. Anyway, he calls during the interview where the police are actually interviewing Brooks to find out what else he knew. They were starting to heavily interrogate him with some serious questions. Still with kid gloves on. The brother that works for that police department phones up on the cell phone, Brooks' cell phone, during the interview. Brooks is like, can I take that? The interviewer's like, yeah, go ahead. And he tells him, do not answer anything. Now later that cop is fired. And there's a grand jury involved too. Now if that wasn't the only thing, check out the video I did. There's actually 4 other murders. One after Crystal. And 3 before. I kid you not. Plus her aunt went missing. All in the same little tiny town. The police officer one has me just awestruck of feeling like somebody better come clean with this. Okay, so the cop actually is named Jason Ellis. Ellis. He is, I believe this happens a year or 2 before Crystal goes missing. He does his normal routine, takes in one of the people he arrested. He signs out for the night, and he takes his normal route home. There's a tree in the road, so he gets out of his car, and the tree is, tree limbs, I should say, is across the road where he couldn't cross. He gets out of it, and oh my God, they don't find him for a few hours or whatever. Somebody coming up on him, calls 911, is literally like, we saw trees, we look, it's him, And so here to come to find out, he's been ambushed and shot multiple times in the stomach. 5:15 on the average watch time. Hey, Automoto. Or no, Mobile. Sorry about that. How are you? Good to see you. Aaron, you are literally 20 minutes from Bardstown, Kentucky. It's meant to be that you're here tonight because it isn't anywhere on here that I'm even talking about the town, which that is where Crystal Rogers was from. Now, keep in mind, after all this time since 2015, nobody's given up on the Crystal Rogers case. In fact, it was sometime in August that the FBI returned and started digging up a few of the little areas around till they settled on one house in particular, which I'm not going to give out the address, but I will tell you, I saw Brooke Hawks in some of the photographs. So it must be close to home, huh? Now, when you go watch this video, you are going to have your jaw on the floor when you find out what his new girlfriend did. I was so disgusted. And somebody told me, rumor has it they're married now. But there were charges pressed against her, so you'll have to go watch that. Hey, Aaron, you clicked here for the Avery case. Well, all right, I'll pretend to read the state. All right, here's the state's reply. It's only like 12 pages long, but I'm going to speed read it. So here's what it says: wonk 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 wonk. That's what it said. Just like Charlie Brown's teacher. I don't have it, honey. Oh, you mean for the movie? Let me go get it. I didn't even look up the state's response because I want to keep my supper down. I'm just saying. The state's making me very nauseous. The irresponsibility. I mean, at this point, I feel like the federal government should come in and take away the state's right at this point to rule on this case. Just be like, you guys are making the entire world look at you guys, and you look like idiots because you're behaving like idiots. So you just don't have the right to rule on anything anymore. We just can't give you that authority. I mean, come in. Why doesn't FBI investigate the state crime lab now? I mean, we've been working on the past, but hell, we know Wisconsin just repeats the same mistakes over and over. And since their crime lab was investigated and failed back at the time that they had the Avery evidence, which, you know, what's this case based on? Right? Big hair, drinking, McCullahan. Whatever. Okay, let me get that link for you because I do want you guys to see this about Crystal Rogers. So the FBI concluded, like in the last few days, that they are, get shareable link, that they have concluded the dig and there's all kinds of stuff heading off to the lab. And it does look like I'm trying to click show, but oh my God, I can't keep up. I think I showed it. Aaron, if one of your messages didn't get shown, it's because it was speeding by and I was trying to click show, or I could choose block, and I think I clicked show, okay? If I didn't, just type it again, it'll be all right. Yeah. Let me get that link up there for you. This is Crystal Rogers. Yeah. Quite shocking. I mean, the stuff that goes on in that town, I could literally make a hell of a documentary. I would be willing to go to Bardstown, you guys, and just like do a, ma'am, why not? You guys help me get it together, figure out, you know, somebody send me the tickets and I'll go for it. I'll go interview everybody because there's a lot there. And they have, nobody's given up. The FBI isn't giving up. And it's not just that. A mother and a daughter, a 16-year-old daughter, were violently killed in their home. violently. I'm not going to tell you how, because nobody needs to know that. It's out there if you want to know, but I'm just not going to. I'm not feeding that energy. I'm not giving whoever did that time. I will just say that I pray that there is justice delivered. Thank you, Nan's Life. I love you for doing that, dear. Who's Millbilly? Millbilly. Oh, Millville. Put it up. Okay, thank you, guys. Or Millbilly, whoever it was that put it up. Thank you. I don't harbor any ill will to anybody. Anybody that's working on the Stephen Avery case, just keep doing it. Average watch time, 6 minutes. I mean, it's the thing that really counts to me is that we just don't lose sight of our goals. You know, we're still one big family, even if we don't all get along. Oh, I know. Cairo says that so effed up that there are people out there that do that stuff to people. Yes, Fair Witness, I agree. Such a valid point. Fair Witness says when it's that violent, it's personal. I would love to be able to be that kind of investigator, like a freelance journalist, if you would, to be able to really dig into, like, do the travel and go to Bardstown and really look into the case, or go to really cover the story of Michael Vaughn and try to help get the awareness going, because the media does not do justice anymore. I mean, I used to think the Inquirer was laughable, and now half the shit in the Inquirer is more real than the evening news. Current views 15, playbacks 51. Reverse numbers. But yeah, honest to God, when you look at what the state has taken and done with this case, they literally have put words on paper that isn't true. Literally is anti-truth, right? Like half-truths, half-ass in the job. And we know that the state is going to continue to do this, that there's no point in even, I don't know, I feel like I can't even give them my breath. I think of them as the state of insanity. Oh, where do you live? Oh, I live in the state of insanity, right in the heart of it. State of confusion. Whatever you want to call it. It's not normal. Why do you think the state of Wisconsin, there are certain states that are normal? Like, you can go to them and, oh my God, you get a ticket and it's just a ticket. And it's because you were speeding. Wow. You get to leave. There's nothing. There are places you can live where you don't have to deal with police harassment. Not Wisconsin that I know of, but hey. I love it. Fair Witness says anti-truth equals corruption. So what do you guys think we should talk about on the blackout? I've got some ideas. I've got some good ideas. I was kind of thinking about Chucky. Not because of a suspect kind of thing, though he could be, but more about the timeline of the guy that does the CASO report, which I'll have to get the page number of it for you, but you could just go to the CASO report and you can literally type in, I believe it's Chuck or Avery. Well, Avery's going to get you a lot of hits, but just, do Control F and then type in the subject and it'll jump to the pages you want. But I was thinking about, it's so confusing. Yeah, timelines. You're right, Nan. That's where I was headed. I swear she and I have the same brain at times. Okay, so this timeline where this guy, this witness says, he came to the shop and he had been there before. He was a regular customer at the Avery shop right at the time that Teresa goes missing, right? Teresa Halbach goes missing. He said no one is manning the shop. No one. He literally waits long enough that he got uncomfortable and called in to the police to report it. Why is that not a big deal? So anyway, Chuck Avery comes from around somewhere in the back or whatever, in a big ass hurry, and he looks all messy, and he's out of breath, and he's panting, and the guy's like, oh, never mind. That kind of strikes me as odd. I mean, it's the exact time someone goes missing. What the hell? Where's Chucky? You know, they're pinning it all on Steven because he's alone at the trailer. But Steven said, 6:44 on the clock here with average watch time, Steven has always, from November 4th, I heard him say it on the news while he was interviewed. She said, why were you calling back Miss Teresa Halbach after 4 p.m.? And he said, well, I had forgot. My brothers had decided we were selling the end loader. And she was supposed to photograph that. So where's Chucky? Yeah, fair witness. Chucky has always been shady. I agree. Chucky looks messy on a regular day, Nan said. Yes. So Chucky's not manning the helm at the shop. Now, I've been to the shop myself, and quite a few of you probably have too. They're very welcoming to the public. If you're in the shop in the office, it's a clear shot to be able to see at least 60 to 70% of the attached huge garage. And your voice echoes because it's a big empty room. So all you have to do is go, hello, and they can hear you. And you can hear everything being done in there, whether a pin drops or whatever. So where was Chucky? That really makes you wonder. And then the other thing I wonder about is another weird lull in time right at the time she goes missing is when the Valder's truck delivers the oil or propane or gas or whatever, and nobody's there. And I believe it's reported that Ma Avery came out and said, we didn't even order any. But he reported nobody was around. So that's strange too. I mean, really, honestly, where were these people? Why is that not a prime question? Because we all know, in order to go down by Steve's trailer where she would have to photograph, Teresa Halbach has to pass the office. Right close to it. Was Chucky out flagging her down? Because she was supposed to go the other way and go down to the quarry? Because back then that road worked. You could leave and you could go from Stephen Avery's down to the quarry. Right to Deer Cuss Road. So did Chuck Avery see her heading the wrong way? Which was going to be taking that Avery Road out to 147 and then taking left to Larrabee? And he flagged her down and go, whoa, 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 Missy. Yeah, my brother's down there, Earl Avery, he's on the end loader. The one that the cadaver dogs are going to hit on later. Hey, Sheila Smoky Lovely. Good to see you. Fair witness. That's a little rough, but I'll read it. It's your opinion. Fair witness says Chuck was cramming a body in a drum. I wouldn't put it past him. Good gravy. Lordy. Fair witness called us cheeseheads. We are. We're Wisconsin cheeseheads. Oh, Lord. Yeah, that's true, Sheila. Sheila points out that Bobby said in his latest interview she left after he did. According to Barb, in that phone call with Steven, because Steven nailed her on it and she agreed to it. You're still favoring her ex, Ryan Hillegas? God, I haven't talked about Ryan Hillegas forever. You know, that's always been weird to me. I'm gonna give you a story back from when I was RD a long time ago. I wasn't even RD back then. I went by my real name, Danny, then. And I would jump on these YouTubes when YouTube wasn't even a thing. I mean, I don't know. YouTube may still have these videos. I deleted most of them because the cops scared the hell out of me. But anyway, I would jump on and I would do a theory. Now, one of the persons that would know, who was that? She comes on here quite often. I'll think of her name in a minute and I'll show you. Sherry Pontello. She'll tell you about it. So anyway, I would jump on here and I would have had grabbed another suspect, found out something about somebody. And it was back in 2016 after watching Ma'am. And really, I would just get to know a character, an actor. And I'd be like, oh my God, Ryan Hillegas. And I would get quiet and I would think about Ryan Hillegas and everything I knew about the case. And I would come up with how in the world could they have done it if they did it? Like the theory, right? And I hit on a theory that I just couldn't shake. And so I decided to jump on a live and I did the actual walkthrough, really detailed even, like all the way through the murder and everything, which was completely different about the way I went about that theory. It would be weird if my original theory came to be the truth. And I can tell you about that if you want. But that was before I knew about Carmen Botwell. But I can still tell you about the theory if you want. But you guys let me know on that. I'm kind of tired too, so I might not be able to remember it all now. Might be something in the future. But one thing that was so bizarre is one night, I was checking the comments on the second night or third night because I was hovering on it to see what people thought, because back then that was big to be on YouTube, you know. And Dave Bogatka was the other one that was on, and he's the one that inspired me to do YouTube. So anyway, I got this Ryan Hillegas. Yeah, the person named themselves on YouTube as their alias as Ryan Hillegas, which, you know, could have been a million people. But it freaked me out to this day. It stuck in my craw because it was the only time this person ever commented on any video I've ever watched. And they only said 2 words. And it just creeped the shit out of me. And it said, please stop. Yeah. And I was like, ooh, I don't know. I don't like that. Ooh, it made me feel terrible. Okay. Fair Witness says, well, I'm from Minnesota, so it's friendly ribbon. That's cool. Sheila Smokey says, there were a lot of discrepancies. He lied or changed his story. Indeed. For real. Fair Witness says, too much evidence and opportunity points to him. Aaron says, I think it was Bobby Dassey. Fair Witness says, I don't think Bobby is smart enough. You guys, I feel so bad sometimes when I read your comments. I'm not saying this, but I am saying this for you. Fair Witness says, I don't think Bobby Dassey is smart enough to pull it all off on his own, or even with a sidekick. Oh, Lordy. Sheila Smokey says, it was interesting that Bobby brought up ST in that interview, too. Yeah, Fair Witness, please stop. It just had a creepy vibe. Like, it wasn't over the top. It wasn't like, you know, something to scare me in a way. it felt too real to be comfortable. I was like, I think I actually deleted the video within a day or two because it just kept eating at me or something. Automoto says, I want to say moto because it rhymes, but it's automobile. Says, I want to know about the theory about how Teresa was not killed and the bone fragments were from a girl that OD'd the same day. What's your theory on help then, Fair? Hey, Chris. Good to see ya. I think I've already kind of made some videos on that automobile if you want to go look at that. There's a lot of videos out there. But I mean, everybody has to really realize that the truth is we have two individuals that disappear on the same day, October 31st. They're never seen alive again. And the demographics put them logistically very close together. And that makes it problematic for me because we're starting to stack too many quinky dinks in a row. The fact that the Botwell family and the Tadich family did know each other, which I'm sure people will go off to feed about that, but that is true. And I'm not going to sit here and validate how I know every detail. I'm just going to say that's how I feel. That's what I've learned. That's what I believe. Yes, it's still very possible in my mind. Very possible. Because you know what, Otto? I'll tell you the truth. It could be any human being. Literally. Because we only have 7 loci and we know this person walked upright. That's not a match. It just doesn't rule out Teresa or half the public. So for any reason whatsoever, it could have been some homeless person bones for all I know. But the fact that somebody that is so young in life, going to school, trying to make a living and take care of herself and had everything kind of going the right way there, and she was being targeted by the law. I really feel that. I really do. And I've listened to family friends speak of Carmen's fear, of her voicing fear that they, whoever they is, were going to kill her. The fact that she's considered a homicide. The fact that Teresa's considered a homicide. The fact that we have eyewitnesses that are roofing on a place stating that they saw the Hallbox girl's vehicle in Mishkot. Happens to be where Carmen Botwell lived. 7:44 on the clock with 70 playbacks. There's a lot to it. I know I'm all over the board tonight. Right? Oh my God, Nan, you're so right. Not only did Ryan lie, but he had 22 dropped calls and a long period of time his phone had no activity. And we're talking at the time when Teresa's been reported missing. Vandiga's here. They say, yay, I woke up in time for a live. Much love from Jim in the UK. We are getting around the world tonight. We seriously are. Okay. Fair Witness says, I think it's Ryan and maybe her roommate. I think Ryan put him on the spot. I think Ryan lost it when he found out she was sleeping with the roommate. That's true. Not only did she sleep with the roommate, but she also slept with Bradley Sheck, a married man. Sheila Smokey says, I suspect Earl too. Those trees around the Rav make me suspicious. I almost put very in there because I'm in agreement. Plus, there was a motive between the brothers. I totally agree with you, Nan. Nan says you can't remove CB, or at least I can't. Well, I can't either. That's why I just said fully agree with you. And the nonsense of CB and TH aren't related, so it rules out CB is trumped by way too many coincidences. Like I said, doesn't matter if they're related or not. It literally doesn't matter. We have 7 loci. I mean, by now, even grandma just watching true crime on TV, CSI, is already at the argument of, might not even know this case is like, well, 7 loci is not even going to tell you anything, but that's a human being. I agree, Nan. What's that fair? Okay, so Fair Witness says, see, it can't have been SA because he's smart enough to have crushed the car. I agree. It bothers me that they put the battery in there, whoever did it. Whoever put the battery in there forgot they put the battery in there. Because to frame Stephen, you would want the battery out, because you always remove the battery before you crush a car. So it works against the state for the battery to be in there. Kevin says, I would ask adventurers with a purpose to sonar all the rivers look for TH's car. Oh my God, Kevin, can you imagine if they pulled out a rav out of one of these ponds after all this time? Oh my God. Oh, totally agree, Nan's Life said. It's not SA because the timelines aren't there to confirm he did it. Never mind the planting. Did a fire happen? Chris Roberts asks. You know what? I'll be honest. My opinion, and this is just my opinion, I've listened to the whole thing. They had fires quite often. But from my understanding, they planned to have a fire on Halloween night, and they couldn't because people didn't show up, so it was a few nights later. True automobile. All I know is that in this particular case, LA prosecutors smell to high heaven. You know, Sheila, you're right. Where are you going to get a battery at a junkyard? Earl was manning the ASY that day. Hey, do you think, you guys, that the planter didn't really have the blood, so the actor that played the planter, i.e. Bobby Dassey and his accomplice, pushed the car because there's no battery, and then later they can't get in the car because Bobby Dassey may have locked it, so they had to drop a battery in so they could get in it? Oh. Vendiga says, any updates on the past high school photos of Teresa or any past photos for that point? No, nobody, nothing. Nobody's proven to me that she really existed. No. You know, my son showed me one time. All you got to do is go to this one website, and every time you go there, it'll give you a new face. That's all it does. It'll just give you a new face every time you refresh it. It totally looks like a human being. Those people don't exist. What if there never was a Teresa Halbach at all? What if that's a computer-generated bullshit like that website? What if the state from 2002 to 2003 started setting up the identity and registering her businesses and getting her set license plates and buying a car and registering it to the DOT and all this, and then they just had an actor fill in the parts for a few months teaching volleyball so everybody could say they knew her. And poof, the actor goes back and does whatever they do. Yeah, they totally look photoshopped. I agree, Nan's Life. Sheila asked, did they ever identify the guy with Bobby pushing the RAV? Not to my knowledge. Remember, he had a poofy jacket on and a big beard. Sounds like Santa Claus. I'm just saying, they have manipulated these people into performing like circus monkeys. Who knows who they got to do that? I've talked to the locals. I know how the game works. You listen. They get photographs on you, or they get something on you, such as when Barb got the THC charge that disappeared later. It's this THC charge is going to be yours. Well, I didn't even have THC. I was alone in the vehicle, blah, 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 blah. Oh, no, we made sure someone's in there for you. Now you got a charge. So you're going to work with us. Or this is going to happen. Right? Whatever. Could be working undercover in my neighborhood. Go for it. I ain't got shit to hide. Shane says, no access to the planted RAV4. Bones given to the family, and Bullet FL useless for testing leads to TH being alive, in my humble opinion. I agree, because I know who she is. Someday maybe I'll just get the guts to just flood all 200 pictures of her. Oh no, I far from believe she's dead. Oh no, I do not believe she is dead. I stumbled on, let me put it this way. Little Tweety Bird one time accidentally stumbled on something, sent it to me. I started reaching through this and digging through it, and I started tracking this person on just social media, whatever she allows, and I've been saving it. There's no doubt in my mind Teresa's alive and well. And she's not even really Teresa. Though this chick did have the name Teresa Halbach for a little bit. That's how they get you. Partial truths, half truths. That's how I think like some of these people pass lie detector tests too. Is the right questions don't get asked. Like there was a, what is it with, I want to get this name. Michelle After Dark, I believe. I want to get this name. She's awesome. And I just adore her. She goes on walks with her dogs on her YouTube channel, and she talks about the Wells case. And I'm pretty sure it's Michelle After Dark, but I want to make sure I quote it right. Hold a moment. Hear my phone clicking? I'm working. Working here. Yeah, she works on Chris Watts. Yes, Michelle After Dark. She got 24,000 subscribers. Ah, amazing. I love the way she takes her time on things to really digest and break cases down and doesn't jump the gun too soon. But when the case gets to that point to where you're forced to recognize that this is out of place, she acknowledges it, and then she hones in, and she does an amazing job. So I have never heard that name, Shane. I have got to read you guys what Shane said. It almost surpasses Stacy Seabrook when he said, Norm Dim Bones Be Gone. Okay, so if you don't know that reference, he's talking about Norm Gone, who gave away the bones. Okay, Shane says, more like fast butt scratcher and lanky. They look like plants. Fast butt scratcher. I'm gonna die. And lanky. You're killing me, Smalls. Lord. Yes, Nan, alive and well and living right under everyone's nose. I mean, if I was to tell you this right now, I would go viral because I'd probably be dead tomorrow. But no, I'm serious. If I told you the truth that this person stumbled upon someone, we worked together, we've researched this case, 3 ways to Sunday. I have personally over 150 shots of this woman. She has a different color hair every time, and she is undeniable. Like, there's not a soul that could tell me this is not Teresa, because you don't have to even put anything next to her. You can tell it's her. 8:33 on the watch time. And she lives so close that you would never believe it. And her name at one time was legally, or at least she was using it for, I don't know how she legally can do it, but she does. She was Teresa Halbach. Oh, just for fun, I'm going to give you guys a name out there. I'm going to throw you a bone. There was once a little note where she used a different name. And that person got mentioned in a few groups, but nobody looked at her. Nobody looked at her as anybody important. Oh, she's somebody important. She's the person that played Teresa Halbach. No doubt in my mind. And she's a master of disguises. Very famous for it, actually. She is hiding in plain sight, literally, under our noses. And I would have never suspected this. But it's true. There are times when I want to just go make a fake account somewhere and just drop all the pictures and just watch you guys freak the hell out. But I know I'm watched. Someday it'll come out. It'll come out. But yeah, they could have used anybody's bones in this case. Hell, at this point, according to the state, they prosecuted Stephen and Brendan with chicken bones for murdering a chicken. A female chicken, see? The only bones that are female in this case are pelvic bones. Those aren't found on Stephen Avery's property. So how the hell did the state know he killed a female if he even... How can they even say he killed anybody? Because the only bones in here that are definitely human and female, which they're counting on to prove that it's Teresa Halbach because it's a female, are the same bones they won't let nobody test. Why is that? This doesn't get him out of prison, though. Nope, I already had a guy look at it. A legal beagle. And he said, ha ha ha, you have a problem. The truth doesn't really matter anymore. I said, what? He said, because your boys are fighting what was put out there by the jury. And you have to fix that. And it's a lot of red tape. So I said, well, what would you recommend? And this legal beagle said, well, get that evidence tested, prove those bones. I said, you mean the girl bones? He said, yes, those are the ones the state used to convict him. I said, well, no, they used the fragments of the skull. No. He said, not really. Because those fragments of the skull don't even tell you if it's female, male, nothing. It's the female bone. And that female bone's what you need to get him out of prison. I said, well, that is norm, them bones be gone. So on the mere fact that the state used the pelvic bones to state, clarify, pound in the jury's head that this is a 25-year-old female, how much relevance do those bones have, Mr. Sweaty Cracks? Huh? Because you were only going to spend 20 seconds on them, but you based the entire case on it. If we take out the evidence that's missing from the case that we have the right to test, they could never pull this off again. That's why the state won't allow another trial, because they have no evidence. I'd like to call exhibit I don't know, what are those? Oh, it flew away. I thought, oh, that was a fly. Well, I don't know how to try this case, Your Honor. There's nothing on the evidence table. Follow me? Yes, Tom Pierce is a dodgy plucker too, Shane. Automobile says, where did the family put the bones? Where's Waldo kind of thing. Yeah. Did the family even get the bones? I mean, at this point, do we really got to walk that? Because we know what happened. We know what happened. They got rid of those bones right the hell away. They didn't wait till no September 11th and 20 whatever 11 or September 27th 2011. I highly doubt they waited that long. I believe they gave the bones right to the funeral home right on the day that thing said that, because the state didn't need them bones. They just needed the little pizza box over there with animal bones in it, because nobody was smart back then enough to know what the hell was going on. Why would they hold on to bones and deprive the Halbach family of giving a Christian burial to their loved one, when nobody's going to have the ability to test those bones anyway, because they don't even know what DNA really is? I mean, they got Sherry Culhane in there with so much aqua spray on her hair she doesn't even need a bobby pin, drinking out of her sleeve, coughing on everything, using a wooden cabinet, little cabinet with the little drawer where all the little shoe, the elves that build the shoe at night, and you just get there and the shoe's all built for you. Yeah, in fairy tale land there, that's all sanitary. Putting the victim's DNA right next to the suspect's DNA. Well, why wouldn't you? Hell, you're getting paid if they match, and you don't get paid if they don't. If the cops tell you, listen to me, put her in the garage, put her in the trailer, or both if you can, guess what? Your paycheck literally is based on that, because that state crime lab doesn't get a dime if that guy doesn't match that culprit. So, how's that for an incentive for bad cops? To make sure they get the right person in the lab doing the testing, right? Yeah, there's no chain of custody. Nan nails it every time. We cannot confirm, this is what she says. We cannot confirm family even has bones. There's no chain of custody. And you know what? I applaud all of you for going out and getting FOIA documents. But the truth is, I think they're making them up as you request them. Here's another red herring. You know how them kids on that internet been wanting to know where them glasses came from? Put on that front page all by itself on there, Teresa's, and just let them figure that one out. Yeah, don't fill nothing else out. We don't care. They ain't got a leg to stand on. Yeah. They just make that shit up, throw it at us like a dog waiting for a bone. We pick it up, and then we try to apply it to this case, even if it don't make sense. And they watch us sit there and tie our own knots when it's quite clear that there are too many quinkydinks completely in this case for any of this shit to gone down the way that the state said. And which version are you going with? Are you trying to tell me that we're going with Brendan Dassey's trial theory? Or are we going back over here to Stephen's trial theory? Because this woman died so many different ways, and yet you can't prove to me she's dead. How's that for Truth. Oh my God, Shane, where are you getting these? Shane, I gotta make sure I say it the way he wrote it. It's so funny. Why were 3 counties involved in Mana Planet, Owak, Calmat, and Marionette? Yeah, because Marionette was involved. Wasn't that Crivets, you guys? Bear Witness thinks they cremated them. Who knows? They probably found her body, like the victim's body, and cremated that, and used that for the evidence, and just handed nothing to the hall box. They were just like, you're all actors anyway, what do you care? It's just a made-up person. That's just me, you guys. Are you freaking kidding me? Nance Life said, Carmen Botwell's lawyer conveniently died November 3rd, 2017. That is crazy. Wow. She also said, Shane, it's all shady, including the Bar Association president, T. Halbach, T.H. brother, and C.B. lawyer, Bar Association president, and law practice was wrongful death attorney. Well, if you want to talk about actors, I'm going to jump off the Avery case for a minute and jump right on over to the Summer Wells. Did anybody else hear that Candace Bly sobbing thing? Because I'm half tempted to believe she was really believing all that, and that he pranked her and that she pranked Mary. But then I heard rumors that she would never call Mary in 100 years. And that was her playing that. If that mother was faking that, holy shit. And the Emmy Award goes to Candace Bly. That's insane. Your kid is missing. Like every damn minute that you're sitting there breathing your air, you have to be sitting there. I don't care who you are. This is your flesh and blood. You have to be sitting there worried about what they're doing to your child. Right? Unless you already know. And there's nothing you can do about it because they're dead. Then you got time for whatever the hell. Because there's no way back to save that baby. Summer's case is a mess. That is such an understatement, Nan. So true, but an understatement. Sloppy, drunk cry. Candace Bly's call sounded about like the Charlie Brown teacher, like the state's reply. Wonka, wonka, wonk, 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 wonk. You can hear Dawn in the background. I thought so, Nan. I wasn't sure. I could hear a male, and I wasn't sure if it was boys or not, or if the boys are in the home still or not. I wasn't sure. But I'll tell you, it was interesting. I went online the other night with you guys, right? And we made the video about her. You know, I'm asking, is that an advertisement? The child is jumping in front of a red barrel that says for sale. Like what? The day before she goes missing? Something like that is what I heard. And it's posted on TikTok. Maybe it wasn't intentional, but did some psycho pick up on that? Okay? So I did this because I'm like, who would allow that? I mean, seriously. Anyway. And then I saw a whole bunch of videos go out about it. And then it was interesting because Voices Behind the Wall, Cher actually did pinpoint a question directly to Don's and made a call to him and asked some very good questions. She laid it out. Where did this barrel come from? You need to go watch that channel. I'll try to remember to grab that link and throw that in here, as well as Michelle After Dark, and get some links on here for those YouTubers, because they're rocking it by really forcing the issue And I mean, I give them credit because they're staying on this case and they're keeping Summer in the limelight where she needs to be. And I know everybody's, even me, I was like, in the beginning, I was like, well, this should be about Summer. This should be about Summer. This should be, well, at this point, I'm starting to realize when Don talks, it is about Summer. Okay? He's saying some things like the way he mocked that whole thing. And he was like, oh, everybody says, poor Summer, poor Summer. Well, Summer loves her effing daddy. That will never leave my head any more than Mike Halbach saying he might grieve for a day or two. He doesn't know. I get it, Otto. That whole thing was for show. I get back at the tubers. I get it. Luckily, I just came out and was like, I'm asking, is he in jail or not? I asked that. But to me, if your daughter is actually abducted or missing, like if you don't know that your daughter is deceased and you don't know that your daughter is safe, you actually worry she is alive, right? You're not going to be pranking nobody about your daughter's death. You're just not. You mentally can't do that. So not only does Don and Candace speak in past tense immediately in that interview, one of the YouTuber calls it a Sermon on the Mount or whatever, but it's the one where the news organization interviewed. They speak in past tense blatantly and even catch themselves and apologize for it and explain they can't help it. Can't help it. And basically are already losing hope. I'll tell you what I wouldn't do, and I've said this before. If my kid is missing, I don't know where they are. I don't know what their health is. I am not going to give anybody a reason to doubt the idea of looking for her. And if I started feeding the crowd that she might be dead, that she's probably already gone, that's going to drop off a lot of people, because as time goes on, you get fewer and fewer people turning up for the search anyway. So you would want, I hear the truth train too, Nan. As I talk about Summer, and I say this, the truth train went blaring through. You would want to give as much hope as possible, even when you didn't feel it. You would be wanting as many people to fear for your child's safety as possible, so that they felt empowered to help you, inspired to do this, to get the flyers going. I would have been on here, you guys, and I would have been like, well, thank you so much for minutes, missing in minutes. My daughter's name is Summer Wells. I'm looking for anybody that has drones. We need as many as we can get. We've got a huge group set up over here in the Piggly Wiggly parking lot over here, and we're going to be showing up. Whoever shows up, I appreciate it. I've been doing flyers by hand because I can't afford to make them. So me and my kids been making them, and a bunch of church folk been making flyers by hand. And we've been getting them up everywhere. We've worked 10 counties over, but we've got that documented on maps. And so we're going to be handing out Ryan Hilligus maps everywhere and cameras to people. So if you do know something, you'll have the right sheriff number to, or you can get TBI, to look it up. We did have dogs go through the property. We don't know what happened there, but if we could get somebody to volunteer dogs to search again, we're here for that. I mean, why is this not going on? That's a moment of silence for Summer Wells, for the injustice that's not being handled. If I lived in that state, I assure you, I would be on board searching for that child. Just like Cassie Aon, just like Jamie Kloss happened in my state, I was with the family with Cassie Aon, and we still haven't found her. I was knee high. I was armpit high in broken down barns where we didn't even know if we were going to get tetanus or not, digging, looking through things for this woman. I'll have to bring you guys up to speed on the Cassie Aon case. It's heartbreaking. Chris Roberts probably just can't say the truth. Maybe. I agree, Sheila. I wouldn't be waiting around. I'd be out there looking. I agree. Nan's Life says, I desperately try not to judge, but Summer's parents have many issues, and they are damned if they do and damned if they don't. Well, there's always going to be suspicion on any parents until they're cleared. There really is. So there is some bravery to coming online. And the family has kept Summer in the limelight. Protection First says, please do bring us up to what has happened. What you want to know, Protection First, dear? What subject? We've been all over the board. Chris Roberts says, regardless, the whole scenario is crazy and effed up. Hey, Chris Bolin. My daddy says I'm the best at French kissing. We got our first roll in like 3 years, you guys. Let's have some fun. Oh, my God. So, Chris, are you a pedophile? Because that's kind of what it sounds like. You need to be careful on here because I will block you permanently. We don't put up with people talking about stuff like that. Now, I will tell you something. It is possible SA, and you know what I'm talking about, not Stephen Avery, SA, may have taken place with this child. We do not know. And until TBI comes forward and says something, I can't assume it did. Even if other victims claim it, I can't assume it. But what I will tell you is there needs to be a constructive use of the amount of energy that we have invested in Summer Wells on the world level. The YouTubers are doing a damn good job of keeping people talking about Summer. And that's really good. But I'm starting to get mixed signals that the police don't want searches taking place. And I'm not sure that's true because we're only getting information from basically the parents. So when I hear someone say, well, the police don't want us to search, we're not to get involved, I've made a call like that, and then they continue on, and later they're like, well, at least that's what Don Wells said. See, that's where I beg to differ. I need to hear it from the police not to search. I need to be told that, because just hearing that and being broadcast because the dad told you that, that's irresponsible to me. That needs to be backed up by law officials telling you that before you share something like that. What did she deserve, Chris? Chris Bolin. What did she deserve? Nan, do not block. You'll just come back as someone else? What did Summer deserve? Why would you write such a heinous thing? What do you think Summer deserved, Chris? And why would you say such a heinous thing about a 5-year-old innocent child? Right. Give him a moment. Chris Bolin. Why would you say such a heinous thing about Summer Wells? I got all night, buddy. And you can come back every single day. But when you make a comment like that, I assure you, your IP is trackable and you will be turned into TBI. So what did she deserve that you say something like that? Jokes are not tolerated here. Not like that. Nan, you want to tag him? Let me see if you don't have the ability to report him. I'm going to. I just tagged you for child abuse. Because what you did is child abuse. You, Chris, you said Summer got what she deserved. That child is missing. You just got tagged by child abuse. Your IP has been reported to YouTube, and I assure you, I will find out through YouTube, and you will be reported to TBI. Too bad. Yes, yeah, you better leave. And don't you ever tell me you'll come back again and again. I don't mess around when it comes to kids. And this isn't no fucking game. And don't you ever speak of that child like that again. You've already been reported. You can stay here. All they're doing is recording every word you say. It'll teach you not to get on YouTube and say shit like that when we're looking for a 5-year-old missing little girl. Your IP is already tracked, Chris Bolin. What are you, 14? 15 years old, just goofing off? Leave my channel. Now. You know where the exit is. Use it. Learn to be a good kid. Okay. You're not welcome to stay here. You have to leave. You're not allowed to be here just because you said you're sorry. You must exit. And don't play games online again. I'm sure your mom and dad are not going to appreciate waking up to the call they're going to get. Good night. Now I'm sweating. That got me hot. Damn. I thought we just had somebody that was goofing off. And then when he said that, oh. So I can only hope that Summer is safe and sound. I like to think of her as safe and sound because I can't think of other things. But the amount of people coming together and starting to realize that reality is coming to YouTube in a different form than like it used to. Like it used to be past cases where we're looking at historical situations. And now YouTube is turning into history being made on the live channels. And we're starting to see cases where people are being interviewed that are right in the middle of the hot zone, the ground zero while it's going on. I can't I can't even fathom that position of what that would feel like. I mean, yes, prayers that she is found safe in the grace of God. I agree with you, protection first. Archangel Michael, please watch over this little child as well. Not only Summer Wells, but also please, Michael Vaughn. I agree. Truth chain coming through again. Well, you guys, I have enjoyed this time with you. It's 1:04 in the morning. I got to go to work today. So I probably should get off here. But as far as the state's reply, I'll put a real one out there where I read the state thing for you guys over the weekend probably. I'm not in a big rush. I'm not real impressed with what they write anyway. You know, they had to get rid of all the evidence because if it was legitimately Stephen Avery had killed her, they would need that evidence because they'd be like, ha ha, you son of a bitch. Here it is right here. We can prove it 1,000 times. Keep testing it, Zellner. You can't change the fact that he blah, blah, blah. Right? The proof is in the pudding. If the evidence is missing, so is the case. Night, everybody. Night, fair witness. Night, protection first. Night, cobweb afternoon. Night, Nan's life. I love y'all. I love ya. To the summer, moon, wells, and back. Take care, y'all. Don't let no bud bugs bite ya. Night, Shane. Night, Automobile. Night, John Boy. And Chris Bolin, if you're a teenager, you better never come back again, and you better take this as a good lesson. Mind your manners. Be a good kid. Get the hell off the internet, off this kind of stuff. Good night, Sheila Smokey, and Cobweb Afternoon. Love you guys. See you again soon.